guys. Thank you guys for watching the Curate live session. And I realized that I called it the live session originally, but it does not make any sense.
We're live.
This is not live. So I'm going to call it the Curate Studio Sessions.
Wow. Yeah. Brilliant.
Stop calling me, girl.
This is a big problem in Malik's life.
People keep calling me.
You'd be surprised how hard
Do
it
not
is to
disturb.
get any work done.
So thank you guys for watching. If you guys are tuning in, you're only watching because we're actually just going to release the video. I want to do a series where we're highlighting different musicians, specifically in Southwest Florida, that are maybe releasing projects, doing shows. But just want to like kind of go in depth a little bit into their music, into the project that they're releasing, and so you see that? I like that cut, man. That's kind of cool.
Thanks.
It says mom, a little just above queen.
What?
I don't know what that is. It's cool though. No, it's cool.
I mean,
and that's what you're
mom
into.
is a little bit
cool.
higher than queen.
That's cool. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So today we have for our first one we have Rosailne. Did I get it?
Got it.
First time ever.
Rosailne. It's only two of you guys. There's obviously like 50 more of you guys. You got like a symphony, actually.
37 people in the band.
37 people. You killed off 3 because there used to be 40.
Yeah.
But you guys are a sort of country rock band, correct? Is that the best way to describe you guys?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah. Country rock.
I mean, it's hard to lead with the word country because it's not really that.
Right.
And I feel like no matter how you spin it, it's going to let people down.
Yeah.
So just, whatever.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's what we do.
So you guys are EDM band.
Yes.
You guys
mostly electronic.
mostly acoustic electronic is kind of like what you guys do.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Cool. So you guys are obviously you guys live in Southwest Florida. We're kind of right now we're in a studio. I'm not going to divulge where, but it's
secret underground.
Secret underground location. And you guys are doing a show this Friday, correct?
Yes.
And you guys have an EP coming out, or is it an EP? Or is it an album? What is it?
It's long. It's an LP.
Full length.
It's a very LP. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, what does LP mean?
Well, it's really stupid because EP is extended play and LP is long play. So you would assume that EP would be longer, but it's not. EP is shorter. It's one of those weird verbal issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, LP means like full length.
Yeah.
So, we're going like full tilt retro and actually putting out like 11 songs in a shot. Nobody does that anymore.
It's crazy.
It's
crazy.
Too.
We're going like super 1998 there.
Seriously. Okay, so you guys, obviously, I've known you for a while. I've known you for a little bit. I don't really care for you too much.
Well,
but you're here.
He's
So.
not great.
because I'm Japanese.
I found out you were Asian. I don't even want to talk to you.
That's why I don't tell many people.
Just to kind of jump in, like, what are you guys' like musical history? How did you guys get to the place where you guys are in 2017, making a sort of country rock album, whatever you want to call it? But
How'd you do it, Rick?
How'd you do it? Tell us.
It was a challenge,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah.
But first I had to move here because growing up in Wisconsin, our folk scene was dead. And so I just hopped on the Google and it said like country rock was happening in Southwest Florida. I was like, okay, I'm going to pack up my family.
You're lying.
I'm going to go.
You're lying to me.
That's what the Google said.
No, dude.
Country, he Googled country rock.
It's so funny now because people are doing this thing, and I've had a lifelong mission to be not cool. Like, I've worked on it so hard.
Yeah.
And about 5 years ago, when we started doing this, like, nobody was doing this thing. It was, like, not cool at all. Like, you would throw out a bunch of references of things you're doing, and people would just give you that dead-eyed, like, okay. Like,
Awesome.
And now it's cool. So I think we need to be like a boy band or something. I don't know. We need to keep moving.
We need to find that thing that isn't cool.
You need a choreographer.
Yeah. So growing up, I listened to. Well, I grew up in a Christian music only household, so it made my musical discovery process really weird. But when I started like listening to the rest of the world's music, one of the early things that I remember latching onto was that first Wallflowers record, Bringing Down the Horse, that like had a bunch of hits on it, which is why I found it. But
One Headlight is like the hit.
yes,
That's my jam.
That's
dude.
the jam,
I don't know
dude.
about the rest of that because I never listened to it, but I know One
here's the
Headlight.
thing, dude. Listen to that record because it was made in 1996 and it holds up. It would be a badass record if it came out today, and there's not a single thing that's imperfect on that whole record. So I remember listening to that and just being like, something about that resonated with me in a way that was like, this is the kind of songs I want to write forever.
Yeah.
So like I've certainly gotten into, there's a broad stream obviously behind where that stuff came from. I mean, I didn't discover Bob Dylan until I was like 23.
Oh, that late?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm only 24.
Okay.
So no, anyways, like, so yeah, I mean, just that's kind of the thing that we're going for is it's country rock. It's, or some people call it like alt country, that sort of Wilco, Ryan Adams thing.
Because there's obviously a difference between country, pop country,
Yeah.
folk country. I mean, it's like, it's not just country. You can't just say country.
Sure.
'Cause I like Ryan Adams. I love Ryan. Would
Yeah.
you even say that he's country though?
Ish.
People don't, it's just not like a category for singer-songwriter music like that people know what to do. One of my favorite writers is John Prine, and he just in this month's Rolling Stone was like ranked in, like, they did like 100 greatest country artists, and they put Prine in there. Like, he's not a country artist, but they even wrote in there like, we just don't know where to put this guy. Like, he just writes good, simple, like really simple to the heart songs. So it feels like that ethic fits what country music is supposed to be. But genre-wise, it's sort of like, it's not super country, it's not super rock and roll. It's kind of like chill singer-songwriter tunes. So I think it's just stuff where the song is the focus. Like the song, rather than the arrangement.
writing.
Yeah. Yeah, so like you take Ryan Adams and he's had like 6 different bands that back him up, and he's done all kinds of different styles, but it doesn't really matter because like you take it back to a dude with the acoustic guitar playing those songs and they're good.
So is that for this first song you guys are going to play? Is the writing the focus? What's the name of this first song you guys are going to play?
We're going to play a tune called How Am I Not Myself, which is an I Heart Huckabees reference.
Dude, that movie.
For 3 people that are like, yeah.
All right.
That movie. Okay, and so what's like I hate when people tell me like what the song means, but kind of what is the context of the whole song?
All right, well, in a big picture sense, the whole record is about growing up. I've lived in Cape Coral my whole life. It's about growing up in Cape Coral and just the feeling of being trapped, which is not really that big of a deal, now. But growing up here, it was. And I think that even that idea of feeling trapped serves as a bigger metaphor for just growing up and facing the limitations of life and realizing you can't go everywhere and do everything and be everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to the song a couple times before we started, and it seems like there's a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of not regret, but like reflection on how you got here, and just it very so takes me back into my own nostalgia and my own past. So I'm excited to get into this one. So,
Good.
Cool. All right, How Am I Not Myself? Check it out.
So this year I'll be clear about what I want from life. I'll get stirred up, then let down, and blame myself for trying. More and more and more and more and more I feel I'm not myself. More and more and more and more
right, so you guys are. Tell me more about the Rosailne as far as like the band members, man. You guys are like the two consistent people. And
Rick?
How many people are in the band?
What I did basically is I got Caleb under contract to write some songs. Because I just felt the need. I was like, I would really love to play in a band where someone else writes all the music and I never know who else is going to be playing instruments.
Sure.
Yes.
And so what we do is it's just a show by show. We contract out.
Oasis was taken.
Oasis was taken. So basically, I just go to Tinder, and anybody who has any musical references in their profile, I just swipe right until I have a full band board. And then that's who we play with.
Yeah, man.
So when Caleb, because obviously Caleb's the main songwriter, do you have to ask him like, yo, what does this song mean, bro? Or do you just kind of know?
I either know or I've kind of come up with my own version of it. What does it mean to me? You know?
I've always wondered that. Like with like Mumford instance, I know like Marcus Mumford is like the guy who writes, and then everyone else is like,
whatever.
Like how do you just be like, yo, what the hell does that
It's
mean,
assuming
bro?
a song has a meaning.
I guess there have been a couple of times I've asked him, but I mean, like I've written a handful of songs too, and you know, it's one of those things where like I don't really care what the songs mean. It's like I take from it what I can, and so it's what's kind of nice is playing in Rosailne with Caleb, with him being the main songwriter. Like I can enjoy these songs just like anybody else who would pick up the record, and they're going to mean different things for different people, and so that's what it's like for me.
Yeah, and Rick's an incredible songwriter. I mean, our hit, Down on the Bottom, is like was Rick's tune originally. I just stole it, and I was like, this is going to be my best song now. Yeah, it's like Rick's idea, and he came and like the structure was already there, and I was like, he was singing this down on the bottom, and then I was like, I think it was jokey, but I was like, come get down with me, and he's like, yeah. Like,
Okay, cool.
When I hear down on the bottom, I feel good, but the words don't necessarily match the.
There we go.
What the hell is that?
How do I feel good
Like
and
down
sad?
on the bottom, like
I feel sad, but I feel good about it.
I feel. Is that kind of the point? Is that
As long as you
That's
had a
it.
really good time getting to where you're at currently, you'll at least feel halfway decent while you're on the bottom.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, because that's kind of what I feel like. It's like it's like misery loves company type thing. Where just like, yo, we're both here. It's like almost like the best conversations I have is when people empathize with the shit that I'm in. You know, it's just like I love it. It's like when I hear someone like talk like, I'm so cynical about this, or I'm like, yes, me too. Now let's talk about it. I love it.
Dude, it's so good to be sad sometimes, isn't it? It's so good. It just sometimes you just let yourself go there, and you're like, it's pretty good.
I feel like in society we let musicians be. I feel like musicians and comedians, we let them express the sadness or pain that probably the rest of us in society feel. It's like you guys, like I feel like musicians and comedians have the most like license to express our pain as a society.
That's interesting. So we have a safe place to go to be sad.
Yeah, that's the two places where I feel
That and like just social media.
right.
Sure, but yeah.
But I think we have a little bit more judgment towards those people who are like, oh God, what's wrong with it? You know, but
Well,
like,
that's the thing. They do it in a way that you're not actually okay with, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, wait a second. Stop expressing yourself in that way.
hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
But if a comedian, if Louis C.K. is self-deprecating, we're like, yeah, come on,
Yeah,
keep it
good.
coming.
Bring
Come on.
Bring it.
You know, do you feel like for both of you, how has music helped you? Even in the other band members, but like specifically you two, how has music helped you maybe express some of the life realities that you've had to come across? Do you feel like it has helped or at all?
Well, I think so.
Rick? Obviously can't blow those shit.
I think there are two ways you can approach music. I think when you're dealing with something, you either use it as an escape or you use it as an enhancement. And more often than not, I use music to enhance what I'm going through. Right. And so if I'm feeling particularly down, I'll probably pull out some pretty sad Bob Dylan stuff and then just kind of like swim in that. But when I'm in a really great mood, you know, who knows? Maybe I'll turn on my JT, roll my windows down, and I'm like, here we go. I'm going to take this great moment and make it better. Come on.
Is it old JT or new JT or both?
I'll take it all.
All of it. Dude,
All JT.
Dude, there's nothing. If you don't like Justin Timberlake, I don't believe you.
The only people that are not allowed that are allowed to not like Justin Timberlake are wedding DJs because that's all we fucking play.
Well, okay. I mean, that's sort of different. You get worn out on anything.
Sure.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, Rick's answer is better than mine. I think that I like the part of the writing process and the being in a band process or whatever that it doesn't have to mean anything. You know, I think there's this big search for meaning and explanation. We like to explain and understand everything. Like, what's the meaning of this song? What's this about? What's this supposed to make me feel? And like, I think because I am a logical person and I wrestle with that stuff constantly, I like the cathartic thing of this doesn't have to be redemptive. This doesn't have to have a point.
You don't have to wrap it up.
This
in
doesn't.
a nice
Yeah,
little wrapping
no.
paper at the
It's
end.
like we were playing a song last night at rehearsal, and like it's a story song, and it leaves you hanging. And I'd never thought about it. The drummer goes, "So what happens to the two people at the end?" And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I never thought about it. They're just sad. Like, that's it. They're sad, period.
One of my favorite movies, first off. Like,
Yeah.
I love those movies. We don't know. Like, I'm only 26. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out. You know,
Yeah, I don't have to know.
you don't have to know. So you don't feel the need to, even as someone that might have this redemptive hope in different things, right? We all have our hope, right? That's what keeps us all alive. So you don't feel like you have to wrap up every song. But I feel like if I was a musician, I feel like I would try and like make sure that people are happy by the time they leave the song.
Oh, that might be smart. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, just as I come from the church background of like preaching a message. So like, I come from like, yeah, you can bring them down, you can bring them wherever, but at the end of it, make sure like, or even like, you know, certain Christian songs, or not even just Christian songs, but hopeful songs. Like, you're gonna make it. Like, you don't feel like music. You don't approach music that way.
No. No. I mean, I've written some happy songs. They're just not on this record.
Sucks for you. If you make it through this first album, you'll make it. You get it to the next.
I mean,
album.
that's part of. Like, I don't like. Again, it's
Yeah.
just like probably my own issues, but that's part of the draw. You know, I don't have like a super great day necessarily, and then go like, I'm gonna play guitar.
Right.
Like, it's mostly like existential crisis, and then I'm like up late with the guitar, like battling over the same 4 chords, trying to just get it out.
Yeah.
And I think that then because of that, like any day that I write a song feels just better, right? Like it's just therapy. So like every now and then you land on something and you go like, I think that's okay. I think that's cool. I think other people might resonate with that, but it's really just for me. Like is the driving thing. So I don't think about it like what's everyone else going to feel. I'm just more like, I already feel this way. This is super selfish.
So, Rick, when you originally wrote Down on the Bottom, what's the context of that for you? Like, where were you at in life, and what is that song in a sense, without giving everything away? But what does that mean to you?
Well, we changed quite a bit of it, you know, from concept to completion. It goes way back, and I'd have to say, I mean, the origins is a failed relationship. The person ended up not being exactly what you thought they were, but I mean, we're pretty far from that. And so at this point, you know, I mean, like kind of along with Caleb's thing, like I've never even really thought or cared about what that song was about. It had fun chord progression. It's got fun harmonies, and it's like kind of two guitar rock and roll. And I was like, sometimes it's just fun to like be loud and have fun. Yeah. And the words taste good on their way out. You know, I don't know.
I think the one phrase or part of the song that sticks with me is "I'll be all right." Right? It's like "I'll be all right." You know, like I love that part because it's like, you know, this shit's kind of sucking, but like at some point, there's a song by a rapper named Kendrick Lamar. It's it's called "All Right." We gonna be all right. And he's like, you know, all my life I had to fight, you know, like talking about all the things he had to, but then the chorus is like, but we gonna be all right. And it's
Believe
like,
it or not, I do know that.
you know what I'm saying? Oh my God.
I do.
See? Hey, shouts out to you. The black community appreciates you. No, but I think that's beautiful about, it's like the duality of life is, yeah, shit kind of sucks, but like, I think I'm gonna be all right. Like, there's a hope, you know? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Down on the Bottom, next song. Check it out.
Ever since I was 16, I haven't been quite so all of my stories are lies. Down on the bottom of this life, down on the bottom, but I'll be alright. Down on the bottom, come get down with me tonight.
All right, so I have just a couple questions for you guys. Knowing you both personally outside of just music, my question is, because sometimes I wish I was a musician. You know, I think I would. I mean,
you are.
I mean, I am. I mean, I made Dunk City. You know?
Right.
I mean, whatever. Hey, I mean, how many views you get in your video? I mean,
It's a good point. Also, Malik has some hidden keys skills.
ooh, I was. You kind of did teach me how to play the piano at some point, and then once I knew like the 4 chords that worship music needed, I was done.
That's it.
all you
GC was it GCBD or something like that?
Mostly, sort of.
I want to know how, you know, we were talking about songwriting earlier and how, you know, maybe not having an agenda, but for me, my question for you guys is like, how do you take like, you know, how's the songwriting process for you guys as far as, do you sit down, do you just, without music, do you come at it and you just start writing, or do you play a chord, you're playing a bunch of chords, and then like, what's the songwriting process for both of you guys? Rock, paper, scissors, shoe.
It depends. It depends. Mostly it's like an idea that starts first that makes me want to sit down with a guitar. And then because like I don't put a lot of stock in the music, I almost feel like the music doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like the music is just whatever. It's like the music is like the frame that you hang the painting in when you're done. Like I just don't even care that much. Like it's the concept, the content for me first of all, and then secondly like the melody, because that's what sticks with people and that's what they remember. So because of that, like a lot of times I'll just be like washing dishes or whatever, you know, and you get like a phrase or an idea or a thing that happens that motivates you to want to chase it. But those are the great ones when they happen that way, because sometimes you do just go like, all right, I'm going to write today. And there is like a discipline aspect of it as well, that if you never do that, the great ideas won't come.
How do you, that's the thing, how do you discipline yourself? Because I feel like a part of songwriting is that very whimsical, creative, sort of spontaneous part. So how do you discipline yourself for spontaneity? And this is for maybe people who are listening who are creatives who maybe lack that discipline. How do you discipline yourself for spontaneity like that?
Yeah, well, your stuff is always going to be really stunted if you don't add any element of discipline to your life, you know?
Right.
Like you can't grow in something that you don't put a significant amount of time and effort into. So I think that thing of like, I'm just going to sit around and wait for inspiration to strike by itself, again, because I feel like I just gave that as an answer, but by itself isn't anything, because when that inspiration strikes, you won't have a container to put it in. You won't have like you won't be able to do with it what you need to do. So like, that's why we do boring stuff. Like, you know, I teach people guitar lessons and like I teach people music theory and stuff like that. And I'm like, I just tell people, I'm like, I know this is boring. This is like not that much fun to learn, but it's when that moment of inspiration strikes and you have a container to put that in.
You have the
and like you're hearing your little, you're hearing that little nugget of like that thing that you want to sing because you're passionate about it. And you can already hear the chords that belong under that. Like without going to the guitar, you hear the chords that belong under that phrase. Like that's when it's fun to be inspired. So it's both. Like you do it when you don't want to do it. And if it's something that you're really passionate about, you just do it. Like when somebody says like, how do you do something you're passionate about? I'm like, if you can't find time to do it, you're really not that passionate about it.
Because you usually cheat the things that you need to do with the thing you're passionate about.
Right.
In the first hand, anyways. Yeah. I usually give money to things that I'm passionate about, like buying a mic for my podcast before I pay my rent. It's like, Malik, you should have paid for freaking rent. Now you got to, you know.
Yeah, somebody should be pulling it away from you if that's what you want to do.
Right. So, yeah.
I like that.
You agree? Like that?
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool.
Man, Asians never have an opinion.
No, we
Anyways.
don't.
I'm going to edit that part out. Speaking of inspiration, You guys being based in Southwest Florida, how did you guys have to overcome any sort of like creative or even inspirational blockage to even get to where you guys are like, hey, let's do this band thing, let's make music, and like what were some of those things? Because I know for anyone creative in Southwest Florida, you know, we're kind of getting there, but we're not there fully, you know, and that's why we're doing things like this. So do you have to like face any of those things, and how did you overcome those?
Yeah, massively. I mean, just having a band. Initially, when I started out doing this, I didn't think that anybody would ever, I think we mentioned earlier, like it just wasn't cool when we started doing this. So I never assumed that anybody would want to play these songs. Like when I sat down to do this record, it was just a dream of mine, like I'm going to do this record. So like in 2011, 2012, I wrote about 60 songs both of those years. And then out of that pool of songs, I was just like, I'm going to make a record. And I just assumed I would hire everybody that I needed because I didn't think anybody would ever want to play this type of stuff. Because that's the thing of being in a small music community. Like, I don't know that it's just that it's not cool or whatever. It's just when you do a niche thing, like people are, there's a very small likelihood there's going to be anybody around that gets what you're trying to do. So then when I met Rick, I don't know, 6 or so years ago, it's like, okay, somebody wants to do this. So it's like, you know, even with just one person, there was like this massive energy of like someone gives a damn about this thing. I'm not alone. So we're really lucky now that like we're kind of in shock that we have these incredible players that want to do this. Like, I don't know how it happened.
What is what makes up Rosailne, like as far as band members?
Well,
I mean, most currently.
Yeah, right now, like at least on the
As
show
of
Friday.
today.
What are we gonna see on
as I
Friday?
said, there's
Okay, on
37 people in this band, so Rick's gonna name them all.
Let's see. On Friday we will have the two of us, and there is drums. Whoa. There's bass.
Drum and bass.
There is organ and keys. There is pedal steel.
Pedal steel.
Pedal steel. What's up with the pedal steel? Is that the like? That whole thing?
Exactly. It's exactly that.
That's it. Man, I wish we'd have known you were
I
around.
call that the country sound. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. If you've ever heard a country song, you're like, that thing.
That sad
that?
cat.
That's the thing that reminds me of Rib City on a Sunday. You know, like
I want some ribs.
I want some ribs.
That's
and
what we're
street fries.
hoping. This band is actually sponsored by Rib City. Shout out to Rib City. Are you the only one that's allowed to do shout outs?
No.
Hey, shout out to Rib City.
Hey,
Rib
shout out to
City.
Hey, Rib City, bringing in the ribs in this city.
Pedal steel. Wow.
This episode of Curate is brought to you by spicy cheese fries.
Bro, those cheese fries, man.
Seriously.
I'm actually really hungry, so I'm excited.
I'd eat some Rib City right now. I would.
So, do you? What I would say this: what is your current take on like country, and as far as how it relates to like pop culture in America?
I suppose now I'd have to.
Do you listen to like country radio? And
I'd have to have a big opinion on hip hop too.
I get it.
You know, like if you're gonna have an opinion on country, you have to have an opinion on hip hop too.
Because hip hop is pop culture. It's like pop. Or you feel you in the sense that you feel like hip hop has influenced country, or no?
I think country is definitely trying to ride some coattails and being like, how can we get more popular? Let's try some hip hop.
Yeah,
you know,
when Nelly jumped on, "Baby, you're a song, you make me wanna roll my." It's like, yeah. Like, what?
Everyone's just discovering that like 808s are the gateway to money. Like that's just how it happened. Like,
man,
dude, get some of that. Sample some of that.
We will have an 808
You know-
player on Friday.
You know, like, so I produce records for other people in my day job, which is a blast. So I have to stay current and listen to stuff, which is mostly cool because being stretched is a good thing and not being in a rut is a good thing. And the longer that time goes by, the temptation to be in a rut is always just stronger and stronger. So there's like some cool things that are going on. I mean, nobody knows how to make a slick record like Nashville people. Like, it's weird. You listen to that stuff and you're like, were there humans involved? And you find out, like, people still play those records, like, a lot of times in Nashville, which is insane because they're so slick and they're so perfect. So, like, I admire that as a thing. But, no, I don't really listen to, like, what we do is closer to, like, late 60s Rolling Stones than modern country radio. So I don't feel like that's why I said, like, you call it like country rock or whatever, and it's just a way of disappointing a lot of people because I don't know that we have a lot in common with that.
Tell me about this next song you guys are gonna play for us.
End of Your Line, right? Yeah, we're gonna do End of Your Line. And so it's this tune about how people say they believe whatever until something actually, like something unfortunate happens in their lives. Has a way of reshaping your stated belief system.
So like disillusionment in a sense of like.
Yeah, there's actually another song on the record called Disillusionment.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it just fits the.
So this is the gateway drug to like the.
No, it just fits the theme of the record of like, you know, facing actual reality of. Like it's so easy to just say whatever and look at someone else in a situation and say that you know what you would do in their situation or say that you wouldn't respond a certain way. But the truth is you really have no idea about so many of the things that we say we are so confident in. You just really have no idea, you know. And in my other lifetime of like being a pastor and seeing behind the scenes of people's lives so much, like it's just reality. It's not saying that belief systems are worthless. It's just a statement on reality that might hopefully it lead to some humility. It does in my life of going like, you just don't know everything. You're not going to know everything. And before we come to this really confident place that makes us feel like we sit a little bit higher than everyone else, we should realize that like a lot of the stuff that we think hasn't been tested.
Right. Wow.
It's a real good time.
Yeah, no,
It's very uplifting.
Sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's good.
but I think there's some humility in that. I think there's. I always say like the in between naivety and cynicism is reality. You know, in the sense that you know anyone that thinks that everything is just great, everyone is just great, might not have the whole truth, and anyone that thinks that everything is just crappy, everything is just dead, everything is just evil, might not have the whole truth. And I think.
Yep.
There's a little bit of beauty in that, in the balance, in the middle of like, yeah, no, I gotta think everything is kind of both. Like everyone and every situation and every season of life is kind of both. Like there's not really like any sort of like, I think naivety, once you leave naivety, it's hard to, you kind of go from naivety right to cynicism, nihilism. And I think a part of your 20s, you guys still in your 20s?
I vaguely remember them.
Hey, you're no. I guess musicians can't really tell their ages. They're not allowed to.
We're like vampires. Forever young.
Garlic on your ass. Tell me your age, goddammit.
I don't think you want to know.
But I think a part of your young adult phase, right, is dealing with disillusionment, breaking your naivety. But
Yeah.
I think also it's a part of like I don't want to be just cynical. You know, I don't want to just be. Everything
No,
sucks.
that's a trap, and it's miserable. Like, who wants to live like that?
Right.
You know that. Like, I think that's what you're saying out. Like, neither one of those things can possibly be the truth, but each one is tainted with the other.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite Bob Dylan my favorite Bob Dylan lyric. He says, "Behind every beautiful thing, there's been some kind of pain."
Wow.
Like it's just how one is always tainted with the other.
Well, let's get into the song, man. I'm excited.
You can go off and reach for the stars, strive just as hard as you like, but your dreams don't become anything till you come to the end of your life, till you come to the end of your life. Till you come to the end of your life. No need to wonder, the cutter will find you just fine. No sense in trying until you've laid down in the field your righteousness by. Don't stink, so so they should be exempt from the fines. But the circle's unbroken, all on the right, and you'll come to the end of your line. Till you come to the end of your line, you'll never notice the light till you come to the end of your line. You'll never notice the light till you come to the end of your line.
So you guys have a show this Friday coming up.
Yes.
Where's it going to be at?
Sydney Byrne Davis Art Center, downtown Fort Myers.
Ooh, man, they've been doing some cool stuff.
It's a hip place, dude.
Yeah. What should we expect from you guys this Friday? What's gonna happen?
Faces to melt,
Melt.
souls to be punctured.
Ooh, God,
It's as messy as it sounds.
scary, man.
Just a lot of cleanup. A lot.
Faces to be melted.
Yeah, man. I mean, like we're a pretty loud rock band, I think, really for our thing, even though it's like song focus, songwriter. It's like you could strip it all away and just play the songs with acoustic guitar like we're doing today, and hopefully they're still cool. But yeah, in this arrangement, it's like rock and roll circus, man, with like 6 of us, and it's a ton of fun. You know, we have a lot of great players, and so I don't feel any pressure to necessarily like recreate the record, even though I think we're gonna play the whole record top to bottom. But we're just gonna have a great time and let these amazing players that are with us just play.
Yeah. What's the name of the whole project?
It's called One Stoplight Town.
One Stoplight Town, and that's sort of like reminiscent of, I'm guessing, Cape Coral. You know?
Yeah, that's that theme we were talking about feeling trapped, is like growing up in this small town feeling like you're limited by it is really just become a metaphor for the larger thing of just dealing with the limitations of life, like as you grow up and just realizing like life is a lot of limitations.
Yeah, and it's cool because I think a part of what Curate's doing, and a part of what you guys are doing, and part of what a lot of my friends are doing in Southwest Florida, people who've decided that at least while they're here, they're going to try and break those limitations, is I think it's cool that people want to see those limitations be pushed and broadened, and not just I'm going to go to Cali or Seattle or New York or wherever and find where that freedom is, but I'm going to maybe try to create my own freedom here. And I think that's a part of like what your band is doing, what you guys are doing, is creating your own freedom within the maybe creative limitations that might exist here. You know, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I would also say, like, probably we'll get into the thing of talking about a word that means 2 different things, because I certainly like am in agreement with that. I think that a lot of the things that I do, even more so in my role as a producer with other artists, it's helping to just grow rather than just sit around and complain about the lack of something, trying to grow something, which is always like, it's easy to complain anywhere, regardless of what's going on. But I also think that limitations are not necessarily inherently a bad thing, right? Like limitations can actually unleash creativity. For me, I lived in Nashville once for like 10 minutes. And when you're in a place that everybody's great at everything, it's absolutely depressing. For me, maybe I just wasn't mature enough to handle the situation at that time. But like when you go to freaking Waffle House at like 3 a.m. and the dude that's on the grill has an EP out and it's better than anything you've ever done, it's like soul crushing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're just like, there's literally nowhere I can go that someone's not doing something amazing. And you feel like there's just no room for you to try. And whether that's true or not, I was 18, so it's like a big function of insecurity and all that stuff. But the great thing about our little corner of the world is that there's room to try.
Sure. Yeah, there's a whole lot.
There's a lot to be said for that, man. Because I was talking to somebody the other day about being in a major like market or something where they're like, there's a scene or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but you realize the way to be seen or noticed in that environment is you have to push someone else out of the way. Because that person's already there. Like, things are already established. People are already known. People are already seen. People are already, the opportunities have kind of all been taken,
Right.
to an extent. Like, but the truth is that most of the, like, then it becomes a very competitive, I've got to push someone else out of the way in order to have an opportunity. Whereas here, one of the benefits of things not being built is build them.
Build them.
Yeah.
There's definitely an aspect of, even with my podcast, people don't even know what podcasts are. So it's like, oh, this is what a podcast is. So it's like there's a part of it that is cool because being a big fish in a small pond, there is somewhat of a blessing to that. There's a blessing and a curse, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Because I feel like maybe if you're a small fish in a big pond, you grow more, you learn more, maybe. But also, I think it is a mixed blessing, and either one you got to choose which one you're gonna, choose. Pick your poison. Is really what I feel like it comes down to.
Yeah, you got to choose. You got to choose the right attitude in either situation.
Either way, right.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest and say that sometimes for me it's fearful to go like, would I still be as effective in a bigger city? Maybe. Whenever I travel, I see maybe some of the. I kind of assess that, sometimes I'm like, damn, would I actually still be? Would I still be as ambitious or passionate and creative and talented? Sometimes I'm like, yeah, no. Sometimes I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not.
I mean, for me, I'm just saying for me, maybe not. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it really is all about, it really is all about opportunity and like being in the right place at the right time. So maybe not, but
It all depends on ambition too.
Right.
I mean, like my ambition right now is, I feed my kids and try to make money so my wife can buy something every once in a while
Right.
and pay my mortgage,
Sure.
And like this being creative and being on what feels like kind of like the front end of kind of a renaissance in the area is like, it's fun.
yeah.
And that's cool. And it's an honor to be part of that with some really amazingly talented people. But like, and down the road, I've been parts of scenes and like established scenes, you never remember the people that were at the front of it.
Right.
And like, it's hard to appreciate, where it all came from. And so like, as long as I can have some fun and be creative with some people, like create some things that weren't there maybe 10 minutes ago, and still be a good dad and husband, then like, that's cool.
So I'd ask you guys before we get out of here, I think you might have already answered it, but what's the one thing you want people to leave away from this show now, I guess it's two questions, from the show and from the project, from the record itself. What would you want people to walk away from? And it might just be like nothing, but what would you say? Yeah.
A record, definitely in their hands.
Yeah, buy it. It's
Buy
so
it.
good. Like
Leave with that.
You guys selling the vinyl there?
vinyl, dude. Yes. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was like, we worked, this was a 3-year production, this record, and a full year of that was just trying to make the vinyl happen because it's a freaking nightmare.
You're gonna sell you'd be selling vinyls at the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Actual records.
Actual records. Cassette tapes, too.
We probably should have bought a bunch of record players to sell with the record.
You
Yeah,
should have done a
package
deal. You should have cut a
deal.
deal with
Combo.
Urban Outfitters.
Yeah, but the thing is, you get those Target record players and they're garbage.
Yeah, it's no fun.
Shout out to Target.
Rib City.
Shout out to Cosby, or Crosby, whatever the hell that
Crosley.
Crosley.
They're garbage. Do not buy one.
Cosby.
They're garbage and they'll actually ruin your records. Okay, what do I think people should get out of it? It's like we were saying earlier about like the nature of what it is and why we did it. It was therapeutic for me to create. So if it scratches the same itch for anyone else in any way, I think it's actually really hard to define why we even like music. Like, it's hard to put that into words. Right. It's like dancing about architecture. It's like talking about music is kind of hard because it's like, it's just a feeling that scratches an itch that you go like, something about this is really good, that we're sharing this experience of being human and the things that we're working through together, and I'm not alone. I think that's a fundamental part of it. So if anybody feels that way, then woo.
Yeah, I think it's almost like a very selfish thing for you, right? Like I think for me, like talking on my podcast is very selfish, but in the midst of me being very like, for me, it helps other people. Like me being vulnerable, transparent.
Yeah.
Helps people. So maybe people just come, have fun, maybe relate a little bit, buy a record, and have a good time, dance a little bit, whatever.
Yeah, I always feel like there's something a little bit ingenuine or less genuine when people are like, yeah, I'm just doing this for the fans. I'm like, oh, come on. I don't know how to do it. I mean, maybe I'm just a bad person.
Do we have fans?
Yeah, for starters.
No, you don't. You have friends and family. That's right.
Still no.
Well, dude, thank you guys, Rosailne. Did I get it right again?
You got it.
Yes, Rosailne. Nah, appreciate you guys. Come out this Friday at the Sidney Burns Art Center in downtown Fort Myers. It'll be a great time. Buy a record.
At 7:30.
7:30. Have a good time. Cool. Thanks, guys. Peace
Thank
out.
you.